Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to Vertigo. This will be the last installment of the util videos that I do for a little while. So strap in, because there's a lot to learn on this map, and this might be a longer video. So getting right into it, from this spot back here, you can smoke Ivy by simply going about here. It's pretty loose, but this will smoke Ivy if you want to ideally go for like a rush without worrying about it. And then I'm actually going to move through to mid. So starting with mid. As you're running up these stairs, it's not a bad idea to just bank a nade like so to hit anyone that's trying to rush up on this corner. If you can timing it to prevent anyone who's trying to rush up here, or even someone who's trying to throw this molly for mid just to cut everyone off. It'll tag them, and also it's pretty popular to throw this nade as well, which I'll show later. But if you throw that nade, you might be able to trade damage, or if they don't know that nade, or if someone's setting up to just throw some util, or if they're trying to rush, you can catch them off with that. If you know that the CTs are pushing up pretty aggressively through this area, and you want to entry a teammate who might be playing in this corner out, you can go here and just kind of lob a flash at the top here, like just with a step throw like this. This won't blind anyone that's sitting around this corner, but it'll be pretty blinding to anyone who may be out here. And you can throw it a little less if you want to hit someone who might be like sitting like maybe in this position. Well, that's harder to do, and an easier way to do that is to get into this corner here, aim about at this dot, and right-click jump throw a flash. It'll just pop over the wall like so. You can also do that while standing, and it'll make noise though, so it'll just kind of it'll go dink dink. It'll pop like more shallow, but it does make a noise, so it might be easier to react to. And then from this corner here, once you have kind of this control here and you're looking to swing out to fight construction or this headshot or CT or elevators, have someone come to this corner here and simply left click a flash at the bottom of this section of the brick here, just like so. This is going to bank off the wall and hit anyone that's playing construction, or in the headshot, or CT, and over here. However, they have to be pretty wide. If they're playing this like tucked angle back here, it won't hit them. So just make note of that. It will not hit that person. Once you have that, going into this corner here, you can molly off construction to the full extent, and it'll spill down into the headshot area by aiming at 1, 2, 3. Third block here, the third pillar that's extended here, and that'll spill down into this section as well and off that side. So very full coverage molly, and you can smoke it by also kind of being in the same area by like aiming at like the exact same spot. Note that this does land pretty far back, and so if someone does want to sit here, sometimes it won't fully cover it, so just be aware of that. To smoke off, to smoke off both of these angles, if you're just trying to split through construction, might be useful on like an eco round. It'll land just kind of in the middle there and spread. Go to this corner, find this bottom plank in the mid, like this bottom set of planks in the middle, so about here, and then go out to the wall, and then just do a run jump throw like so for a smoke that lands right here, covering side to side. To give you an option to split through to be here. And then also, you can throw those smokes individually, both from this position. So to throw CT, just look at about this dot on the wall and left click for a smoke that lands like this. And then to smoke off elevators, crouch at the same position, find where this railing is sticking out at the bottom here, and do a W jump throw. Oh, screwed up. One more time. Like that. That lands elevator. Again, that is a crouch W jump throw. So you can have those as well. If you wanted to split, towards A, you could throw CT, and you could throw both of these. You know, throw this, and go back here and throw this, and you have the ability to split while both of these angles are covered off. So yeah, let's go down to A. So when you're coming up A ramp, now there's a lot of util that can be thrown here. The first thing is to be methodical. So if you come into this pillar here, which is the second post before you hit the... So there's this post where the wood meets the concrete. Go one pillar down from that is how I like to think about it. And then just aim above this intersection here. About, you know, yay high. Even less high than that. It's pretty flexible. Just don't aim too low. And you have a sandbags molly while you can remain completely safe to that position. From this corner, you can throw a lot of utility. So the simplest thing that used to be thrown in Go was if you find this bottom plank here, and you find where it meets the right side of this post. If you throw it too far to the left, I'll show you what happens. It'll bank inwards. You don't want that. You want it to be to the right side of it. So throw it like that, and that's your short cross smoke, lands here. Now the thing about this is that it doesn't cover off this section here. So you can make a minute adjustment to that. That's pretty simple. By finding this post intersection off to the right side, and then do a shift walk jump throw. And that lands more in the center here. And then smokes side to side. So if you don't want to smoke individually right and left, you can throw that smoke to save yourself utility for the future. So that's something to know. You can left-right click if you have a bind. You can left-right click a smoke or a molly here, but I don't use the left-right bind. And to ensure this corner gets mollied off, there's a much better way to do it. So I'll show that later. But just if you do have a middle click bind, that's a good way. That's something to know. And from this exact same position, if you find this kind of fork here, and you follow the right side bend, and then you follow it down. So this position, this corner here, where this part starts going off to this part, just like so. Go down, and then go down just a little bit more, and jump throw. You have a flash that pops over this side. This is blinding to anyone on site that may be staring at it, and anyone off to the right side here, headshot. If they're on this angle here, but if they are tucked a little bit further, it will not blind them. So make note of that. Let's see what else we got. Coming up the ramp, I'll stick with the more basic utility for now. So if you kind of line up in the middle where this like smudge is and kind of center yourself, you can just kind of like left click a smoke up at the top here on this right side to cover off the other side. So if you want to throw a smoke wall a more traditional way, you can throw these two smokes to get a very full coverage smoke set. But lining up in that same position, where you can see the smudge. Oh, that's so weird. Sorry. And you aim kind of towards the top right here, or actually lean towards the bottom right. If you lean towards the bottom right, that's interesting that I did that. But you want your molly to, when you molly off headshot, you want that to crack up top so that it will spill down into the actual headshot position. Too often I see what I did with that first molly where it just pops in the backside here and doesn't actually put any pressure on this guy. You can do pretty much the same thing with a grenade by aiming at the top part of the sign, the top right, instead of the bottom right. But yeah, that bottom right, you want to make sure it pops up top and spills downward. So you can do that. And you can do the same thing with a nade. Now what gets really interesting is when you go to these positions here. So from this position, you can throw a top default smoke by aiming 1, 2, 3, 4 squares down and off to the right side middle of it, and left clicking for a default molly, or a default smoke that'll land on top and spill downward. So that's from this position. You can also throw a molly from here by following the left side of this sign up to where this this red-orange tarp, safety netting is, and left click a molly from there. This is what I said would be a much more consistent molly that always gets that corner every single time. And then from the other side here, to throw the other side of the smoke wall, you can aim 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions down in the middle square here, and then just off to the left of this corner, like so. And left click that for a smoke that lands on top of headshot. And when both of these are thrown together, you will essentially have completely negated any bit of heaven play. Anyone in construction is going to be completely eliminated from the round here. And if you want to if you want to toss some salt on that wound, you can go into this corner here, find where this corner of the support beams meets the brick, and do a W jump throw for a full coverage heaven molly that spills down into CT as well. And also from this position, aim at the bottom right of this brick here and jump throw. Oh, I aim too far. Sorry, this brick, kind of hard for me to see that on this screen. That brick right there. What's interesting about this molly is it actually pops behind this pillar here. So as your teammates are running up, they're not going to be blinded to it, but it'll absolutely full blind anyone that's backside on A. And then going over to B. So when you're coming from spawn and you want to walk out B, you can throw a flash like so by aiming at the corner here in the middle that banks down, or you can throw a flash about here and then also up here like so. There's differences between these. This one, the one that's thrown from here, pops a little bit more shallow than the other one. But these are both good flashes to get anyone that may be holding this corner, especially that one. So I feel like that is an entry flash. And then as you're walking down here, from this position you can throw 2 smokes. So the classic one is to crouch here, aim at the tip of the box, stand up, and left click. That's going to be your classic right gen smoke. What's good about this smoke is that it'll cut off or at least negate much construction play, right? This top construction connector area, whatever your team calls it. It'll negate a lot of that play. But it does leave this left side open, and it leaves angles for them to retreat. So then you can throw this smoke instead, where you crouch and then aim to this dark smudge, stand up, so this spot instead of the corner, this spot here in the middle, and then stand up and left click. And this will be more of a full coverage backsite, where it'll spread from this corner to this corner. It'll be from like about here to here, as you can see. What's problematic about this smoke, though it gives you some interesting play on the left side, it does leave construction open, and it leaves this corner open. So let me show you 2 pieces of utility to deal with that. So, to molly off construction, go into this post here and aim at the bottom of the middle of this left side bracket here. So just here. And jump throw. This will be a full coverage molly for all of construction that will completely knock anyone off. What's also worth knowing from this position, I'll show you the first thing that can help you deal with this corner. Like I said, if you throw that smoke that lands back here, it will, number 1, you need to worry about heaven or construction, and number 2, you need to worry about this corner here. To negate any play from this corner, simply come down into the same position you threw the molly, or I'm sorry, you threw the smoke grenade, and you go just above this yellow dot here, and left click. Now what's fun about this molly, this flash grenade, is that it'll land behind this wall, so it is team safe all the way up until they cross this point, but it will absolutely full blind anyone who may be sitting in this position, or even on the heaven position. From that exact same spot, I'll show you a full utility belt that you can throw from here. So you can throw either this smoke or this smoke. You can throw a flashbang to help your teammates get up, like so. And you can throw a molly from this point here for default. And that is going to be a jump throw. Now to kind of guide you through what I did there, pull out an op. Find these screws that are in the board, these holes, and then find this one, and then go off to where you have this number here, like so, and then jump throw. And if you want to molly off the back right pillar of, or the back pillar of sight, simply go here. Aim at this top dot here. And left click for a full coverage. Back pillar molly. So that's easy enough, right? Couple other things over here at the B site. So if you go into this corner here and aim at the top right of this box and jump throw a nade, this will bank down and absolutely smoke someone sitting behind white. And if you wanted to nade stack this with a teammate, you could have someone post up on this back pillar here and aim at the top right of this position here on this square, the top of it. And you can have two nades that dome this guy together. And that will kill anyone who might be sitting on that position. If you would like to molly off the same spot, which also spreads to the back of double box, you can molly from the original nade position, like just in the exact same fashion. And this molly will spread behind the white box and even spill out into the double box position, which makes it a great all-in-one molly to help you take sight. Now, one other interesting piece of utility down here, and this is really for if you're trying to do a B-mid split. So if you have teammates coming over construction here, if the CTs know that your teammates are coming over this position, they're going to have calmed it to their B teammates. So their B teammates are most likely going to be set up in positions that are meant to deal with this, something like back pillar or perhaps the white box position. A great flash to know to help your teammates get over, which is entirely team safe to them. It might half-white them for a half second. But you go to this position in front of the wall here, and then aim at the top of this black line. You see there's 1, 2, 3 black lines here. Just find the middle one, and then go to the top of it. And jump throw a flash. Now what's unique about this flash is that it pops behind this part right here, making it completely team safe as your teammates are running up here, but being completely blinding to anyone who may be sitting on this position or in the back pillar of sight. And then going over to the CT side. So starting with some mid utility, there's a couple ways to throw this very classic nade. First, if you get into this position here and you aim at, oh, what is it even? This spot? Yeah, I think it's this spot. And you jump throw a nade. Yeah! You jump throw a nade from while looking here. You can absolutely peg anyone that might be trying to come through these doors. Another way to do that is to go to this spot right here at this corner. Aim at the bottom of this wiring holding together the beams. Left, right, jump throw for a nade that'll catch anyone coming up into this position as well and drop right on their dome. Now, this specific piece of utility I will give to you simply because I'm feeling generous today, but this is something that my team and I will do occasionally. We call it turning mid into hell. So if you have one teammate that swings out, you need 3 people for this. You have one teammate that comes with you, and the first person out will throw a simple molly like so, while this person sets up here and throws the exact same way that you threw the molly, or you threw the nade. You throw a nade like, you throw a molly like so, a left, right, middle click. And then you can simply bank a molly up top here with a left click like so, to molly off inside. So all in all, you end up having hell in mid. It completely cuts off their escape as well as push, either that or they push forward into a gun while getting mollied, stay in the molly and die, or push back out into another molly. It does use 3 mollies, so it does use a lot of utility, but we've had a round where we've caught 3 or 4 people in that and gotten 4 kills from it. So it is very interesting if you can make that work right, but you have to get your timing down and kind of use your best judgment when you think they might push mid on a round. And then also from this position, if you're ever mollied off of B and you need to throw some retake utility, simply go into this position here, just on the middle of the box, and then aim up from this main spot to this segment here, and left click a molly for a full coverage white box molly that'll push anyone out of white box forward, or make them, or force them back into this position here. A little bit more B retake utility that you can throw from this position here up on this barrel. If you aim up from here up to where the beam ends, so from this right corner up to the top, and then left click, this will be a white box, and then you go into this corner here and aim at the base of this open square here where it hits the beam, and left click, and you have these two smokes that create a wall that force T's in a retake scenario to have to spam or peek on this side. But it's a great full coverage for this corner, white box, and stairs. If you ever only have one, I would recommend probably throwing this smoke, since it lands right at the box here. And it gives you a great, the only angle you really need to worry about them swinging from when you stick the defuse is white box. Completely negates all the rest of the angles that you have to fight in a retake scenario, which is very important. As far as some other more traditional utility for B, there really isn't any that I can think of. You know, just you can throw mollies like this off spawn to cut them off, or a nade from backside. Use your best judgment, but there's nothing I can really say that's preset that will give you much help. You can throw a bottom ramp smoke from here by aiming at this light here and then running until your character... Oh, I just jumped through that. Lol. Pass until your character hits the light, so just like so. And that's going to bank off and land all the way down here. Some alternatives to that. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I'll say that you should throw some flashes like this, or go up to this corner here and throw flashes. This flash is nice because it actually flashes off the yellow tarp area if they're trying to push up. So if you have a teammate that wants to peek short, go into this corner here and left click a flash at the top like this. You will have to let them know that it is blinding. As you can see, it pops right there. But if they come around the corner like this, they can just swing right into it. And in addition, you can have someone else that's playing anti-flash peek into ramp with that as a supporting flashbang. So once you kind of fight some ramp, if you have a player playing sandbags here, you can throw this, which is the Kerrigan smoke, which is just simply going behind sandbags into this corner, aiming up at this position here, just kind of essentially this spot, the right side of that, and left clicking for a smoke that will spill down onto the entirety of ramp. Pretty cool. If you ever find yourself trapped behind white box here, if you go into this corner, or if you're on headshot here, and you find yourself trapped, or the T's are pushing up and you want to peek, simply crouch and look right at the base, like put your crosshair on the middle of where the line of this meets the sky, and left click a flash that will just wedge itself up into this position and will not be blinding to anyone behind it or to the person on white box, but be completely blinding to anyone on the other side of it. So I call that my God Flash. I don't know where I initially saw this, but I've been throwing this for years, and I've never seen anyone else throw it. And I don't know why, because it's insane how good it is. But anyway, almost done with this video. Just a couple things to note. For a retake scenario, what's nice is that if you go to this position here, you can really just have free will by just kind of banking a nade, a molly, a smoke, really anything off this position here to just allow you to work out and not have to fight that short angle. And then in addition, you can go to this position here and find this L made by the beams and just go to the bottom corner of it and then just aim off of it just a little bit so that you're not clipping your smoke, and throw that, and then wedge yourself into this position here. Find this L, same setup off the bottom left-hand side, just aim up and in a little bit so that you don't clip your smoke, and left click that for a full coverage smoke wall that will allow you to push up sight and retake be a site from the terrorists. Well, I think that about does it on Vertigo. I know this was a very, very content-dense video compared to some of my others. But I do hope you learned something, and I hope you can take some of these pieces of utility into your next game. Now, I do have to say that for all these YouTube videos, massive shout out to CS Tactics. I did bum a lot of utility. I'd say probably about at least 50. I'd say 50% of the new CS2 utility. If there's anything new that maximizes on any of the new bloom features on CS2, where the volumetric smokes can widen out to a larger position than they could in CSGO. If there's anything like that, I most likely learned it from CS Tactics. So major shout out to him, and go check him out for any other util that you may need to use. But other than that, I really hope that you learned something from all these videos, and I hope you can take something into your next game. Go back and watch some of my other videos, go watch other people's videos, and don't stop learning just with me. Keep going, and you're going to be a better player each time you play. So, best of luck to everyone, and I will see you sometime in the future. Bye-bye.